All right, hello everybody, Conman here. We are taking a look. There was a patch today, June 28th. It is live now on the PT. Actually, not on the PTR. It's on the live server. It's live on the live server right now, so you can go check it out. It is live as of a few hours ago, I believe. I've just managed to get myself home. We're gonna take a look. I skimmed through them before, but we're gonna give a quick rundown and see what we got going on. We also have the Necromancer. If you play Diablo 3, Necromancer's out. I played it on the beta. It was pretty interesting. But anyhow, this is about the heroes and the storms that they're in. So let's take a quick rundown. So we've got some Genji nerfs, Shuriken Mastery. The Q here, bonus damage reduced from 30 to 25, so just a small nerf there, and that's for each one. So he gets the 3, so that's going to be for each one that comes out. So that's going to be a nerf overall. Dragon Claw, that's actually a buff. Damage required reduced a little bit to 330, and the damage dealt is increased. I still don't see a whole lot of people taking it. I still think Shuriken Mastery probably will be better overall in the long run. But if you ever were considering Dragon Claw, there's a couple more reasons to take it. Level 7 dodge, the passive, the cooldown was increased from 8 to 12 seconds. I like that. Genji is really oppressive, I think. Oppressive is a word I'm probably going to say a couple times here. To play against, especially against auto attack, you take dodge and then you're so super slippery and super evasive. I think this is going to help out in. I think this is going to counteract some of what he brings to a team fight just because of that. Given that extra, a little bit of time to charge up. All right, so here we go. Now here's the big one, Malthael. Malthael right now is sitting on something like an 80%, 58% win rate. Let's go through here. Something like this. 58% win rate on the HOTS logs as of right now. So that's since he's been released. That is the highest across the board. He went up there pretty quickly. So he gets nerfed. Tormented Souls, his kind of go-to heroic, that went down from 80 up to, I should say, 80 to 100 seconds. So you're to take a little longer time in between casts of that. Level 4 Throwing Shade, that was actually got buffed. Cooldown reduced. Cooldown reduction increased from 2 to 4 seconds, and added functionality. It also reduces the mana cost of Death Shroud. So, I mean, personally, I didn't find that I had a whole lot of mana problems with Death Shroud. Maybe with the extra cooldown reduction, it would have been a thing. So that's great. I didn't have a whole lot of mana problems. I guess it's an added incentive to take Throwing Shade over the passive talent at level 4. So that's nice. I did like Throwing Shade. I used it a couple of times. I had some fun with it. I still felt like the passive one, I can't think of the name, that increases the Reaper's Mark to 6 seconds. That made it too strong to pass up, but this gives you a little bit of incentive to take that one instead. At 13, Ethereal Existence, armor reduced from 15 to 10, but the maximum armor bonus was increased. So before you got 15 armor, your maximum armor was your physical armor here. Maximum physical armor was 45. So basically, you paint 3 heroes with this, and you're at max armor. Now you actually get more armor, but you have to paint 5 heroes. So you can still get the max stack, so to speak, if you use Tormented Souls and just sit on the enemy team and coat them all. But if you're going to be doing it with Death Shroud, you're gonna have a harder time to do it, so it'll take a little bit longer a little bit more difficult to stack up and keep up in that sense. So I think that's a good thing. This was clearly like the go-to talent for Malthael. It was just far head and shoulders above what everything else was giving him. Alternatively, here we've got also at 13 Inevitable End. Cooldown reduced from 30 to 20 seconds. This was, I think, the self-cleanse that made you unstoppable. So that's good. You get to cast that more often. I think that, give them a little more talent variety. I still think Ethereal Existence is still going to be too strong to pass up. If you can drop Tormented Souls in a group of heroes, especially auto attack heroes, you're still going to have the same amount of armor. So there you go there. At 16, Memento Mori, damage bonus reduced from 100 to 80%. That's a big one. I think that was something that needed to get done. I'm actually surprised that they kept the damage bonus on his passive. Not bonus, but they kept the damage percentage on his passive the same. They haven't tweaked that yet. So that's still a 2.5%. but they reduced the damage. But this was kind of insane. I started playing some Malthael games as I got more comfortable with him, and it was just crazy the damage that he would do, especially when you pair that with that quest talent at 4. People just start to melt once the trait stays on them longer than a few seconds. They just literally just melt, and it was crazy. You take camps with it, melt down bosses. It was kind of nuts. So I think that will help pair him in line a little bit. Level 20. Reaper of Souls, new functionality, now added functionality, not new, added functionality, now passively increases the duration of tormented souls by a second. That's nice. That's nice. I don't know if that's going to cause anyone to want to take that over the other talents, but, you know, gives you a little extra incentive to do so. Thrall got some changes as well. His trait heal amount was increased a little bit, so the trait heal was actually severely nerfed in the rework, so they bumped it up back a little bit. Level 1, Rolling Thunder, mana return increased from 10 to 12. Level 4, Feral Resistance, new functionality. Heroes hit by Feral Spirit, grant Thrall 3 charges of Frost Wolf Resilience. So that's an interesting choice there. If you go that route, I like that a lot. 13, Spirit Shield. Cooldown reduction per Frostwolf stack increased from 5 to 8 seconds. I don't know how that'll play out. I played Thrall a bit since the rework. I never actually took that talent myself, but I was only playing in quick match, so you know, take that for what it's worth. I like that though. That's actually 8 seconds is quite a long time though, so that's pretty nice. Level 20 Windrush, cooldown increased from 7 to 80. It's still really good. It's still really good. Those 10 seconds. I mean, yeah, it's not as good now, but it's still really good. To get the bolt functionality plus instantly get Wind Fury, it's fantastic. Just pop in on somebody and smack them in the face a couple of times. I still like it. Zero Tool got a slight nerf at 16 to 1 ability, Sentence to Death. That was kind of the go-to for most Zero players. Bonus damage decreased from 50 to 40%. Still a lot of damage. So this is the one where if you ping somebody with your Singularity Spike, they take increased damage while the spike is on them. So that damage bonus was reduced slightly, probably just as a counter to try and fend off Zeratul from just picking somebody off all in one shot in one combo. It's still going to be really good. I don't see it having a huge difference. You know, it'll be a slight decrease in the damage, but it's not going to be game breaking, I don't think. Zul'jin, base damage on Guillotine increased from 210 to 350. But the damage multiplier was reduced. Extremely low health from 300, as I knock stuff over here on my desk, from 500% to 300%. Anyway, what this means is this is going to do more damage base, and you're going to be able to cast it at a high damage level at higher health. So before, in order to really get maximum value out of it, you had to be super critical low health. With this change, you know, you can still get the damage bonus for being low health, but you'll still be able to get some good value out of this at a higher level of health when you cast this out. He also got some buff to the Ensnare talent, the Net. At level 20, the range increased from 7.8 to 10. That's actually really long. I forgot. Yeah, that's pretty long. I don't know what a comparison is. I think, what's the range for Raynor? Raynor's like 7. So I mean, you're already well outside of auto attack range for Raynor, and he's got one of the longest in the game. So it's pretty nice. Cooldown reduced from 60 to 45, and the duration increased. So this, I think, Ensnare is going to combo pretty well with Guillotine. If you at level 20, you know, you get long range, you catch somebody in the net, and then you can drop the axe on him. So I think that's a nice combo. He's still, I mean, I like him a lot. I never picked Guillotine though. I always went Taz Dingo because Taz Dingo was kind of the go-to. So hopefully this will give some more reasons to pick Guillotine going forward. All right, Medivh. Raven familiar. Ravens created by this talent now only attack heroic targets. I'm not sure about this one. I never took it. I never took it myself. I don't think I've ever remember seeing anybody take it either. So there's that. I'm not sure. This is just one of those things where you go, okay, there's a change. I don't know. This one, I'm lost on this one. Sorry guys. I don't know how this one will affect anything. If anyone is a solid Medivh player, let me know. Let me know what you think about this one. I never took it myself. Probius, Pylon Overcharge, which was the go-to ultimate here, no longer gives Pylons bonus health. Okay, that's fine. He got toned down a little bit. All right, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It kind of made it pretty difficult to take down the Pylons, which is the main source of his strength. So this will make it a little bit easier to do that. So there you go. Not a huge change, but it's something that's not insubstantial in that case either. Anyway, so we got Brightwing. So my boy, I guess my girl Brightwing, she got a pretty. I think this is a buff across the board. This gonna be really big. So here we go. Base ability Pixie Dust. The movement speed duration is reduced by a second. So that's not so great. That's went from 4 to 3. It no longer grants block charges. Okay, but in return, it grants 30 spell armor. So 30 spell armor for the duration, which is huge. And then at 13, what you can do, you get shield dust. Pixie Dust also grants 50 physical armor for the duration. So instead of block talent, instead of block stacks, instead of block charges, you get 50 physical armor straight away for 3 seconds. So, you know, I forgot off the top of my head now how long those block charges lasted, but now you'll get. But they did run out if people would attack you. Now you'll keep that for the duration for the 3 seconds. So essentially, if you take Shield Dust at 13, every time you cast Pixie Dust on anybody, you're going to have at minimum 30% damage reduction and 50% to physical armor. That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be huge damage mitigation. I think that's really going to kind of buff Brightwing up in terms of the support game. Lucio got a small buff. Amp it up, healing increased from 14.5 to 15.5, and at 16, cooldown per basic attack by 0.10 seconds, from 0.35 to 45, and up the frequency. Alright, he still is in a bad spot after his healing nerf at level 1. The idea here is to give back his intentional healing since we took out so much of his passive healing away. This may also hopefully help reverse amp, bring together pick rates on other tiers as well. Yeah, reverse amp, I don't think I ever saw, I won't say never, but very, very rarely did I see anyone ever take reverse amp. You know, the shield kind of was always the way to go. We'll see how this plays out. Maybe it'll be more substantial than I think it is. I still think he's going to be kind of on the lower end of there, though. But I do like what they're doing with this. I do like that they're slowly trying to buff up some of the other supports. I think this is going to be a big change for Brightwing. I think it's not too much, but it's a good step in the right direction here. And they actually, going further down, we're going to see some nerfs for Tassadar and Uther. So let's take a look. Tassadar. Base plasma shield lifesteal amount reduced from 45 to 40%. Excuse me. And then also I'm going to look here. I'm going to skip over to level 4. The lifesteal amount reduced from 90 to 75% with the talent. So I remember, if you watch the video that I made when I was looking at the patch notes, when they actually increased this to 90%, I was like, man, that is a huge deal. That is a big difference, a big deal. And it turned out to be a big deal because when they made Tassadar like super, super powerful, especially when you stacked it up here with Templar's Will, which they did nerf as well. Templar's Will passive damage bonus of the first quest unlock reduced from 150 to 125%. That's a big deal as well. I think that's going to bring him more. That's going to bring that pew pew, kind of just stand there and beam somebody build more in line with what needs to be. They also they did as some incentive to try to not take Templar's Will. They increased the Q build, Cardian Resonance, which I still think I pronounced wrong. First unlock shield value increased 15 to 20. And then the second unlock from 30 to 40%, so it gives you some incentive to take that over Templar's Will. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I think Templar's Will still may be the go-to. I'm curious. I'm curious if people are still going to take Templar's Will into Kala's Embrace with only 75% lifesteal. We'll see. I want to see what the numbers look like in game. See if that makes a difference. Let's go to Uther. We'll check out Uther here. Alright, so level 1, Hammer of the Lightbringer, cooldown reduction per basic attack increase from 1 to 1.5%, 1.1 to 1.5 seconds. So this is actually a buff. This is, I think, here just gives some incentive to take this over the Wave of Light talent at level 1. Level 4, Pursuit of Justice, movement speed increase from 20 to 25%. Alright, this had low pick rates as well. Level 7, here we go, here's a nerf. Guardian of the Ancient King. So this was like the go-to, I guess, in the higher level play. Armor reduced from 70 to 50. So this was the one where if you healed somebody who was CC'd, they got instant 75 armor. So now they're going to get 50 armor, which is it's a pretty big deal. I mean, they're going to take, you know, a substantial chunk more damage now. I think that's a good thing. I think in that regard, that was kind of just too good to pass up when it came to Uther. It was just really, really strong. You know, it also gives you some incentive, maybe now, depending on the enemy composition, to maybe take the cleanse talent, which is really, you still got a good one. So there you go. Oh, here's something I should mention. If you go back to the Brightwing, so this is something that you only triggers when you're CC'd. If we go up to Brightwing here for a second, and I can't scroll my damn mouse, this you don't even need to be CC'd. This is going to be any time that you actually cast it. And I forgot what the cooldown on Pixie Dust is. I think it's 12 seconds offhand. Somebody quote me. You know, don't quote me on that. I need to look it up. I don't have it in front of me because I'm dumb. But you still get cleanse as Brightwing at level 7. This is 13. You still get cleanse. Whereas Uther, if you took Guardian of the Ancient Kings, you know you didn't get your cleanse talent, so something to consider. Level 16, Benediction, cooldown increased from 40 to 60 seconds. That's a big deal. That was kind of a go-to pick in a lot of ways. I've been playing some Uther recently, and I think I almost always picked Benediction. I'll still probably almost always pick Benediction, but I do have to be a little more cautious on when I want to fire it off now. So, what to say the dev comments? When we looked at how to nerf for Paladin, we knew Uther was destined for great shutting down enemy teams in lockdown. We want to continue that. But Guardian of Ancient Kings negated these enemy plays too well. Yes, they did. Statistically, it isn't outperforming the other talents, unless you look at the highest levels of play, which is true. I did mention that. But at those levels, the power of the talent can be frustrating to play against. Okay, so this is more, you know, your mileage on this. This is about right. Your mileage on this is probably going to vary depending on what rank that you're at and where you're playing. I think, you know, you'll see it more often if you watch like the HGC games. We got some D.va nerfs here. Mech stuff. Attack damage reduced slightly, 22/5 to 21. Mech health reduced and the regen reduced. So okay, I'm down with that. I think D.va felt, to me personally, take it for what it's worth. To me, D.va felt personally very oppressive to kind of play against. That mech just absorbed so much damage. So we'll see how that plays out. Her level 1 hit the nitrous was reduced as well. The damage bonus reduced from 100 to 50%. So interesting. So slight tweaks there to kind of tone her down just a little bit. We got some d.va changes here. Basic attack damage reduced slightly by 5. Brush Stalker increased. Okay, that's an interesting one. 10-second pop onto that. And then at level 13, Ferocious Stalker, new functionality, increases the damage of Dark Swarm by 40% while the Brush Stalker buff is active. So you got that here. So you'll get bonus damage to Dark Swarm. I think that's going to be across the board. That's not going to matter whether it's a heroic target or minions or anything. But you do have to have the Brush Stalker buff active. So I don't know how much play that will get when coupled with the the Brush Stalker change. I mean, you still could get it by just walking into a bush and walking back out. I'm curious. I'm curious what anyone thinks of that one. I'm not a huge fan of that personally, but let me know. That's all we got for hero fixes. We do have some bug fixes. Some game crashes is nice. Some art changes. Okay, here's what I like. Chromie fixed an issue that could cause 2 instances of slowing sands to exist at once. I did see that, and it's a pain in the ass, so I'm glad they fixed it. d.va completing tissue regeneration's quest will no longer prevent essence earned by hero takedown, so that's great. Samaro had a fix. Tassadar had some fixes here. Nullification went out correctly. Multiplicatively multiply when the target is also affected by other damage reduction effects. So there you go. That's good. Can no longer use basic attack damage during dimensional shift while in Archon form. Fantastic. I'm a big fan. Percent health for Thrall. Damage dealt by basic attacks after casting Feral Spirit. Talent will now correctly count as ability damage. I don't know if that makes a difference because it's going to be percent damage, but let me know if that really does. I'm not sure about the interactions on that. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. Also Thrall, bonus damage, False Rules Grace. Okay, so a couple bug fixes there. I do like some of the more serious ones. That Chromie one was a giant pain in the ass if you ever saw it. Some of these other ones were nice as well. So overall, I'm nothing too crazy. I think in this, just a hot fix, nothing too crazy. I'm interested to see how this tones down Malthael, whether it's going to be a huge deal or not. I think this is a big deal. The 20 seconds just being able to take a little bit longer to cast it is kind of a deal. I like the incentive to take Throwing Shade. I'm a fan of Throwing Shade, but man, that quest talent on level 4 is just so good, especially when you comboed it here. I think this is the one that's going to make a big deal here, Momentum Mori. That buff, or that nerf rather, I think that's going to be the big change in terms of his damage. It's really going to kind of like, curtail his damage a bit. The changes to Ethereal Existence aren't going to really make too much of a difference in a huge group, but they will make a difference if you're only going to engage like 2 people. Say, let's say if you're only fighting 2 people, then it will, instead of having 30 armor, you're only going to have, say, 10 or 20 armor. So that can make a change there. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to playing some Brightwing with the changes here to Brightwing. I'm excited for that. Lucio maybe a little bit better, so that's cool too. But Brightwing, I think it's where it's at. She was pretty far down. So anyway, those are the patch notes. Those are my thoughts, at least. Those are my gut reactions. We'll see how wrong I was or how wrong I am going to turn out to be. Anyway, thanks for listening. Take care. Talk to you soon.